Buenas tardes, chiquillos. Hoy día vamos a hablar de flip verbs. These are verbos como gustar. Okay, so we've learned gustar fairly well. We know that in English, if we say, I like cheese, we can separate this down into subject, verb, and object. I is a subject, like is the verb, and what do I like? I like cheese. That's the object. Particularly the direct object. Now, in Spanish, we say me gusta queso. But notice that me is not a subject pronoun. It's not yo, which is a subject pronoun. Me is an indirect object pronoun. So these are flipped around. The subject now becomes queso. The verb is gusta, and then we have me as an object. Why is that? It's because this literally translates to cheese is pleasing to me. Okay? Now this is why it's called a flip verb, because we flip the order of the sentence. The object becomes first, the subject becomes last, and not only that, but we put the object first and the subject last. Because normally English and Spanish are SVO languages. Subject, verb, object, but it's flipped in this case, hence flip verbs. Okay. So in the normal English sentence, I determines the conjugation of like. But in Spanish, queso determines the conjugation of gusta, not me. I never want to see anything like me gusto. So here we have a formula on what we're supposed to be doing. We can use words like a mí, a ti, a él, a ella, a usted, and so forth. But we have to have one of these. Me, te, le, nos, os, les. Then we're going to either have gusta or gustan. Now that's because we have an item back here which is determining the conjugation. That's why I have these two in red, because these two go together. Okay. So we have some sort of name of whatever it is that is pleasing to us. Then we have or we can have an infinitive of whatever activity is that is pleasing to us. Okay? Or not pleasing. So, for example, you like to play soccer versus a ti te gusta jugar al fútbol. So you determines the conjugation of like. You have subject, verb, and what I like. This is the object. But in Spanish, that's just the opposite. We have subject determining the conjugation of verb. So we've got that big red box. This is the subject, and this is the verb. And then we become the object. Playing football is pleasing to you. Playing football is pleasing to you. Okay? Notice with the infinitive, jugar, or any other infinitive, we have to use a singular form of gusta. An action is going to correlate with a singular form. Okay? Again, a ti does not determine this conjugation. Next example, she doesn't like volleyball. A ella no le gusta voleibol. So she determines the conjugation of like. Then we have volleyball that determines the conjugation of gusta, because volleyball is a subject. A ella no le gusta voleibol. Or we can have el voleibol. There's not a really big difference there. We don't like vegetables. A nosotros no nos gustan los vegetales. Now notice we have an an here. That's because vegetales is plural. So the subject of this sentence determines this. Again, not the nos. There are some other verbs that are like gustar, verbos como gustar. We have interesar, to interest, molestar, to annoy, enojar, to make angry, animar, to excite, alegrar, to make happy, faltar, to lack, aburrir, to bore. Okay? And we can insert any of these verbs in here where it says verbo. Just takes the place of gustar. Now, something interesting about this is with gustar, we don't usually talk about people being pleasing to us. It just doesn't really work. Okay? There's other verbs that we use to describe whether we or not we get along with or we like people. But with these, we can have people. Okay? Like molestar, you can have a person annoying you. Often it's a person who's making you angry. It can be often a person who makes you happy, or sometimes people can excite you. We'll not get into that. Okay, then we have lack and to bore, and people can bore you. Okay. ¿Te molesta Antonio? Antonio? Does Anthony annoy you? Sí, me molesta mucho. Yes, he annoys me a lot. So notice we have a person as the subject of this sentence. So subject, verb, object. Antonio determines the conjugation of that. Te molesta. Bien?